With this energy of the key, and locked doors can now be opened. You have gotten through to this stoic person in a way that has surprised even them. This is somebody that has been very consciously aware of the potential between the two of you, and they've been holding back because this is somebody that, although they present kind of a cool, calm, and collected and unbothered facade to the world, when this person loves, they love with all that they have inside. This is somebody, when they fall in love, they fall deep, they fall hard, and so they are very kind of like cautious as far as opening up vulnerability, because the internal aspects of this person, the romantic side of them that it feels like you've gotten little glimmers of, little hints of, but you have like no idea what this person is capable of when their heart is open and they give themselves permission to receive love from another person, to give love to another person, that this is something that that version of them is so beautiful and so different from the beauty of how they present in an ordinary sense, that it's almost like you're meeting a whole other person, but not in the way we think of, like when you hear that phrase, like, oh, I found out that, that it was like they were a different person and I didn't know who I was dealing with the whole time. It's almost like the most lovely surprise ever. When people have successfully in the past kind of like gained access to that emotional garden inside of them that is very lush, that is very fragrant, that is very tender. It's like heaven on earth. This is somebody who has a poet's soul. This is somebody who is truly a romantic, who believes in the sensual and healing power of deep romantic connection with another person. But they also understand that the beauty of that internal landscape within them brings a degree of almost like fragility, that as much as they are capable of like loving with everything that they have, like eternal devotion kind of energy, almost like, crossing oceans of time in order to find your lover, kind of like that energy. That's the way this person, like when they fall in love, that is how they approach it. It's very like grounded, it's very down to earth, but it is also in certain ways kind of like over the top in the most beautiful capacity. But with that also brings the sense that like heartbreak, it crushes them. It has in the past forced them to kind of like reshape their personality in certain ways. This person within this kind of like garden of beauty that you have successfully kind of like unlocked the gate to, just through your presence, just through your interactions with them, your respect for who they are and what they've shown so far, your patience with allowing this person to kind of like open up at their own pace. That this is something that beauty inside, there are also certain almost like markers inside of them, like scars that you will have to become familiar with, of not very many people, but a few significant people from this person's past, that it's not like they still occupy a space energetically within where you're like competing with the ghost of the past. This is nobody that is like waiting for the return of someone, or is like, well, I guess I better settle for something else because the girl I wanted or the guy I wanted, it didn't turn out, and so I'm just going to seek out a consolation prize. But this is something where they've almost kind of memorialized in some sort of way those deep experiences of love and heartbreak in the past that have shaped who they are. It feels like this is someone that is getting ready to kind of open up to you about certain things, maybe share certain things from their past that won't be used as like excuses, but it kind of gives you some kind of perspective about this person. Like the echo of past disappointments, it howls in the wind as much as this person is wanting to kind of like speak life into this connection, wanting to focus on all the beauty that has been like activated within this energy of you've like crossed that boundary inside. You have the key to their heart, or you are a key that yourself that is like unlocked this kind of gate to that romantic emotional capacity within. that they want to kind of showcase to you has come into full bloom since you've entered their life, and certainly something that has happened in the recent past that has kind of caused them to sort of let down their guard to you. But part of that token of like affection or getting to know this kind of like very tender part of them is also kind of like letting you know like this person isn't sort of anticipating or hoping that there will be an end to your connection, but this is the kind of person that is sort of like, I will always, in a very kind of like honest way, if I say that I love you, if I fall in love with you, even if you do things that make me fall out of love, there will always be kind of like a part of you inside of me. People in the future won't be able to like get to know me without having some understanding of like the influence or the impact that you had. This is somebody, again, that doesn't have like a whole lot of significant heartbreaks. They may have been in like many relationships, but it feels like deep love, the kind of love that like, has cut them apart and forced them to kind of put their pieces back together differently. There's at least one, maybe a couple instances of like, you're going to have to hear about these things. You're going to have to be introduced to these scars, not as a way to kind of like make space for them at the table where the two of you are going to feast upon this love between the two of you, which they're really looking forward to. But so you have an understanding that this person, they don't take that word love lightly. They don't throw it out very casually. That stoicism that they present with, it's in place for a reason, because when they give their heart to someone, they give it all. It's the most trusting act that they can do. And it's something that it doesn't come easily for them. It's not like they're falling in love every other week, in terms of like significant loves, great loves. There's only been a few. And even though those situations didn't work out in the past, and again, this is not the type of person that's sort of like, well, I'm just going to be with you unless, someone from the past kind of comes back around. But it's kind of like this version of me is falling deeply in love with you. But to understand the deeper layers of who I am, you must take a journey with me back into the past, into the history that has shaped me. And so that feels to be something, this kind of like clue or indicator or, conversation, things are going to tell you about, kind of open up to you about. It's not supposed to like make you feel sorry for them or make you feel like threatened or nervous in any sort of way, but it's kind of just like they're showing you more of that sort of internal landscape of who they are, with the hope that you'll almost be very like gentle with their heart, gentle with this affectionate side of themselves, but also so that you get this kind of like bigger picture understanding of the person that you're dealing with in the here and now that may have, been kind of like slow to open up, may have had those boundaries in place from the outside, but it was with very good reason. We also have the spirit, unseen forces watch over you. So this person feels that you are a light in their life. They consider you a safe person, emotionally speaking. They love your compassion. They love your generosity. This person considers you like an earth angel, or you're their angel. You are their answered prayer. And it feels like this is somebody that wants to treat the next steps, the next kind of phase, the next evolution between the two of you with tenderness, with delicacy. They don't want to move too quickly, but they also don't want to get stuck in the energy of like we're taking things at, like that snail's pace and it's slow to evolve. This is somebody that wants to be very meticulous, very methodical, very mindful, in a way that it's kind of like words and conversations that, they say and that you have with one another. It's very precise. It's very kind of like I'm sharing certain things with you for a reason. It'll make sense further down the road. This is somebody that almost kind of like building up to that sort of, revelation of like I've fallen in love with you. I love you. I want something more. I want something serious. It's kind of like that may be something that happens through a series of interactions, through a series of conversations, little things where they almost kind of like provide you these glimpses, this clarity, this explanation again of that like garden inside, that tenderness inside, the side of them that is so different from what the rest of the world kind of typically sees or knows. And it's because you made this person feel so safe in your presence. They see you as a good person, as a gentle person, It's a very pure and heavenly and holy soul, and there's something about that that is kind of making them feel that, this is no accident that you've come into their life at this point, that perhaps the type of love that you can create together can be the rescuing kind for the two of you, so that there is not so much need to kind of like walk around, at least on their part, that emotional garden within, and only see those little markers, those little reminders of like when they had poured their hopes, their wishes, their dreams, and their faith and connections in the past, those deep loves, those great loves, those significant loves, and it had ended in loss, tragedy, heartbreak, where they've buried the past, they've shut those doors, they've, grieved, they've moved on from those situations. And yet the scars, the memories remain. This is somebody that is very hopeful that you are the type of person who's come into their life to create better memories, new experiences, kind of like a beautiful new chapter as far as the story of love as they have lived it is concerned. We also have the sun. Your perseverance is rewarded. Yeah, so you have been patient most likely with this person who has probably run hot and cold at a certain point in time. It feels like this is almost something that's kind of filling with that energy back to kind of the key, and you have the key to their heart. It's almost like you had a ring of keys and you were trying different ones with this person. Direct approach, holding space, times where it was like it felt like there was so much potential and then things kind of backed off. Each of that was something that was like trying to find the right key to kind of unlock that gate to their heart. Somewhere along the line, some approach, whether it was something a little more aggressive or more subtle, whether you took a big step forward or a big step back, whatever it was, it feels like has been the right key that has unlocked something within. It's popped it wide open, where this person again is wanting to, like, with this energy of the sun, like provide you with kind of a reward, something very happy, some very good news, but also illumination that helps you to understand, not in the way of like making excuses for themselves, but to provide you with clarity that like when they enter into loving partnership, they don't do so lightly. Something that helps provide a little bit of context for you as far as like that stoic, facade, that version of them, that kind of dominant personality that you were dealing with at first, why that is in place, why that is so different from kind of this internal landscape, the lover inside, the romantic inside, the poet's soul. They want you to be able to have that kind of like context of sort of the soft center that justifies the hard exterior or the shell. And so that can be something that almost like you'll be able to see kind of the value and the meaning behind tenderness, behind, affirmations of love, efforts of love, gestures of love, even just a different kind of like vibe, a different sort of willingness or, softness that this person presents, not because it's like, oh, you were being tested and you passed those tests, but just because it's like it takes time for people to kind of like find their way in to this person's heart. Feels like it's very hard for this person to open up as far as romance, loving connections is concerned. They're good with like surface level flirting, maybe casual, maybe not even that. This could be somebody that is just sort of like, I'm looking for quality, not quantity, and I know the right person will take the right approach to this situation. I live with the right person. I will be inspired to take the right approach to this situation. And in this circumstance, it's like, yep, everything's aligned. This feels right. It feels natural. I don't feel forced to kind of open up. It's like you have become that right key inside, through your patience, through your determination, through your openness, your open-mindedness, and also your own personal boundaries to allow this situation to very naturally come into a place of harmony. So get ready for this person to, kind of start to share aspects about themselves that may be very different from what they've shown so far. But this doesn't mean that what you know of them so far is in any way like artificial, but it's kind of just like this is that duality within them. They're getting ready to kind of like take you on that journey to the softer side that few experience, and that you are somebody who, fits in very well with like the right vibe and the right experience for what feels safe and welcoming for this softer side to kind of like invite you in closer. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.